There's no better feeling than a personal win, and the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you do just that. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the vehicle owner's manual for important feature limitations and information.
So attention cricket clubs and cricketing family, are you ready to step up to the crease and make a long-lasting impact on your club's legacy? Listen up, we've got something special for you. Introducing Fund It Now, the revolutionary fundraising platform that's changing the game for cricket clubs everywhere. With Fund It Now, clubs of all sizes can create a lasting legacy by selling personalised plaques to their passionate members, supporters and cricket club family.
That's right, Livo. Fund It Now has already left its mark on some of cricket's most iconic venues like Lords, the home of cricket, Somerset County Cricket Club, and with projects such as the Father Time Wall and Somerset Legends Wall.
And here's the best part, Hugh. There are absolutely no upfront costs. Fundraising has never been more simple or accessible.
Imagine walking around your club's ground or up to the pavilion and seeing a bespoke wall of dedication, celebrating the history of your club and supporting its future with every plaque. It's like your club's very own shrine to the sport we all love.
And getting involved couldn't be easier. Simply visit Fund It Now's website at funditnow.co.uk to get started today, or drop them an email at info@funditnow.co.uk to learn more. It's time to rally your supporters and start raising money like never before. And don't forget to tell them you heard it from us at the Premier League Cricket Show.
So what are you waiting for? Join the ranks of clubs and grounds like Somerset County Cricket Club and Lords and make your mark on cricket history.
Visit Fund It Now today and start building your fundraising platform. That's funditnow.co.uk. Fund It Now, where passion meets purpose at your cricket club, and begin creating your own legacy. So welcome everybody to this week's Premier League Cricket Show, and once again we're going to be looking around the country and seeing what's been cracking off across the 32 ECB Premier Leagues. No guest this week for various reasons, so we're going to take an opportunity, me and Hugh, to look at what we've called the state of play, or the state of the union, or what's going on across the leagues here now. And the state of the union is being very sort of on point right now with what's going on across the pond, isn't it there, Hugh?
Yeah, we'll leave state of the union to one side. I think I've had enough of those kind of politics.
Yeah, we'll stick with state of play,
November,
definitely.
Let's leave November to November. I can't cope with the brain time of worrying about that.
Absolutely. Hey, well, how was your weekend cricket-wise, mate?
Well, I watched it because my thumb's still knackered. But yeah, rain. Yeah, annoying rain interrupted game, so it ended up officially ended in abandonment. We were too short of winning it, and it got abandoned. Yeah, too short. It's a strange rule. I think they set 174 or 176 off 40, and then because it's draw cricket, we had to get them within 29 overs, or it goes down as an abandonment. So yeah, it was split points. That's all right. We're not going up. We're not going down. It's just a little quirk of the league rules, as we know.
There's lots of league rules that there are quirks of, as we know, around the country, without a shadow, definitely.
It's just shame we actually had a few nice days and it chucked it down. We've had some horrible days and we dodged the weather and we got a proper soaking 3/4 of the way through the game. So it was a solid bowling performance, and the guys will be happy with that.
Yeah, works and rules is just one of those things that we get used to, isn't it? And you talk about the weather, though. I mean, last Thursday and Friday, we baked ourselves left, right and centre, and I had the pleasure of meeting someone we've been chatting to for a while there, and Mr. Tom Scollay from Cricket Mentoring over at NAMP, which is great to see him over doing what he does around the UK right now, Hugh.
Yeah, well, he's somebody that I've followed for a number of years on YouTube, Twitter, just stealing his coaching ideas. When you're coaching kids and obviously bringing my two kids up, both big cricketers, it's been exceptionally useful. A lot of what he talks about, particularly the sort of the mental aspect of the game that he talks about, and preparing, a lot of that I can't really help with, particularly when you've got kids. They don't necessarily want to listen to their folks. So I've plonked a few of those videos in front of my lad, and obviously speaking to Teague Wiley a few weeks ago as well, he's been heavily influenced by Tom. So yeah, he's a real YouTube star, isn't he? And he's also got a very interesting background from when he came from the Northern Territory into Western Australia, South Australia, then back over to London to play in the Surrey Championship, and then into the Middlesex team and so forth. So he's really battled it out to become a professional cricketer. So he's got a real life story to share. It wasn't on a plate for him, was it? No,
not in the slightest. I had a great chat with him, and we're going to put that out later in the week as a little bonus episode. You'll be able to hear 15-20 minutes of Tom talking about cricket mentoring, etc. So.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need, have coverage options to protect the things you value most, file a claim right on the State Farm mobile app, and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
So let's get stuck into one or two of the leagues then that have been going on. And we're going to start up north in a league that I think is really, really interesting this year in particular. We've talked about it a couple of times already at the Bradford Premier League. We've got to start up north because there was so much rain down south of the amount that was washed out. Top of the league at the moment in Bradford League is Jer Lane. Now, they came fifth last year. A little bit of a surprise for one or two people to be top of the league, but they're doing exceptionally well. We're very close behind after 14 games. We've got last year's champions Woodlands and last year's runners-up Newfarnley in third place. And this league looks as though it's going to go right down to the wire when it comes to the top three there. Maybe even 4 or 5, potentially, if Townville and Mr. Vimukti get things going there. It's a cracking league to watch there, isn't it there, Hugh?
Yeah, Bradford League, we've got the top 5 exceptionally close to each other. Had 91 points at Methley and Jer Lane, 217 points, and that's the difference, 1 and 5, really, really close. We've got Newfarnley without Cam Fletcher putting up the biggest score of the weekend across all Premier Leagues in 340 for 6 against Pudsey Kongs. Really, really great performance there. Cam Fletcher's going home, I think, isn't he? He's got injured and going home. Yeah. Derbyshire not looked after him there. He's was it hamstring? Someone was saying.
I'm hearing hamstring.
Yeah, hamstring, something like that, which is a bit unfortunate for Newfarnley and for Derbyshire because he'd started off really well and it was a great opportunity for him. But they seem to be flying there in third, putting the results together. I don't know whether they'll be able to replace Overseas Pro this late in the season. There might be somebody knocking about. But
I understand they're not allowed to.
They're not allowed to. There we go. So that's them hamstrung slightly, but they're still well set. You got Woodlands, Thomas Clee, 744 in their win over Undercliff on the weekend. So they're going very, very well as well. And Taylor Cornell just keeps putting good scores together, 63 from 100 balls for him against Bradford and Bingley. Got them over the line there.
And you've already mentioned them at the other end of the table. Poor old Pudsey Kongs got hammered by Newfarnley at the weekend, and they're now 58 points behind Farsley, 65 points behind Bradford and Bingley. And I think they've got to be looking at what's happening next season already. They're one of the furthest behind across all the leagues of the country, aren't they?
There's my original team, Ragford Trent, probably taking the biscuit for that one. But yeah,
yes,
it's they're a fair way down. But these things happen,
It does.
Players move on. I think the key is just to try and keep the side together, keep everyone in reasonably good spirits, and see if you can go again next year. It's just one of those things, isn't it?
Hey, let's move a bit further down the country into the East Anglia Premier League, and have a look what's cracking off in there. Now, it's pure coincidental that this is one of the closest leagues in the country as well, similar to the Bradford one. The top 5 here are covered by 20 points. Leading at the top at the moment with KC Cariappa doing the business for them regularly is Mildenhall. Mildenhall came 4th last season, so this is a nice step up for them. In 4th place this year currently are Sawston, who came 2nd last year. And last year's winners, Swaderston, are in 5th place. But as I said, there's only 20 points covering the top 5 here, with still another 8 games to go. This one's going to go literally down to the last week of the season, I'm sure, isn't it, Hugh?
Yeah, I think it's the end. They've got one more week of their time cricket block. It might be 2 more weeks.
And then back into 50
at the start
overs.
of the season. I'll get my blocks, possibly 2 more weeks, but we'll see about that. Yeah, no, I think it might be next week, actually. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting shift with Mildenhall currently sitting top. They've done really well. That everybody's taking points off each other, particularly towards the top. Great Witchingham started to put some wins together as well. So there's just there's a bit of energy around this league. So it's just been a lot of fun all season. I think it's been the most fun to watch every weekend because they're all strong. There's nobody really getting blown away. Maybe Frinton-on-Sea a little bit short, but they're not that far away. A few wins in the mid-table. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Definitely, and we've got Tristan Blackledge, the skipper from Mildenhall. He's going to come on in a few weeks' time as well. He'll talk about the East Anglia. We'll have to try and pick a week when he's played one of that top 5, I think, Hugh. That'd work nicely, wouldn't it? So find out what he really thinks in that run-in, who's going to take this to the wire, because it's a cracking league to look at there. Was there anything in the results over the weekend in particular there, Hugh?
Well, Great Witchingham, part of their sort of carnival of talent that they able to attract this season. We've got Jake Weatherald, 73 from 67 at the top of the order, and then Phil Mustard. He's played quite a few games. I thought he wasn't going to play too many games, but he seems to keep popping up on the scorecard. So he's got 22 to help them out there, and they really did one on Swartzen. They 273 off 63 overs, and then they bowled Swartzen out in 40.2 overs for 175, with Monty getting 2 for 43, Brett Stolworthy 3 for 42. So yeah, great performance from Great Witchingham there. We've got Mildenhall, Saffron Walden was a very tight one. Saffron Walden 173 off 50 overs, leaving lots of overs for Mildenhall, but they only got there with 2 wickets in hand. So a tight finish there, 174 for 8. Brian Mendel, 48 for Saffron, and Joe Tetley, 78 for Mildenhall. KC Cariappa chipping in with a rapid 26 from 9 balls to help get that done, and then 5 for 57. That's sort of match-winning performance from him, which is exactly what they brought him in for.
Brilliant. So, hey, let's move across country, and there's not a lot to say about the results over in South Wales at the weekend, because that was one of the areas that the rain came in from the southwest and just battered everyone, and games were abandoned left, right and centre. But there's definitely a change of the guard as such over at South Wales at the moment, because last year's winners, Swansea, just can't seem to put 2 results together at the moment, and they're back in 5th place. You could argue with another 6 games left in the season that they're still within a chance. They're 36 points behind the leaders. Last year's 2nd place, Newport, they're back in 7th place. And leading the way, having hammered our friends at Swansea the week before, is St Fagans. They came 5th last year. And I'm not going to say they're a surprise, because they've been a great side down in South Wales for many years, but they're definitely starting to create a bit of a gap at the front there, aren't they?
Well, it's just disappointing that the weather just keeps wrecking things for everybody down there. They just haven't been able to get anything going, have they, really?
No.
I suspect maybe that's part of the reason why a few of these teams have just not been able to put 2 results together on a consistent basis, just because there hasn't been 2 consistent games in a week, and they just seem to be catching every bit of weather. But yeah, not a huge amount of fun weather-wise, but last year was even worse by all accounts. I think both just lots of grumbling coming out of the West generally for the last 2 years. Hopefully there's a run of weather coming up. I keep saying that, but I think it looks better. We've got a decent weather forecast. My jet stream is looking good. So it's going to be certainly a few weeks of decent weather for everyone down in the South Wales League. But just the weekend just gone, just a mess. Us made it to 44 for 2, abandoned. Cardiff 34 for 2, abandoned. Neath 43 for 1, abandoned. Newport 91 for 2, abandoned.
We'll leave South Wales there, shall we? So once again, we're joined by our good friend, Mr. Matt Taft from CrickX. How are we doing, Matt?
Very well, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Monday morning, it's not as warm as it has been over the last few days, but we're still in T-shirts, although I see you've joined Hugh in the old hoodie brigade today, so it must be a bit cold up north then.
Do you know what I did, though? I've done well here. I've done well. In Aldi, doing the weekly shop, Euro 2024 hoodie, 1p. I mean, you can't, it wasn't great. I mean, you want to kind of steam the badge off and just sort of rebrand it, but 1p, couldn't resist. So I got two hoodies keeping me warm through the winter there. I'm not going to wear it out in public, but it's, they're pretty decent, 1p. So yeah, you just need to send me a CrickX sticker.
CrickX sticker. Oh, I tell you what, what's that company called? Just Initials. They seem to do lots of stuff in the cricket industry right now. So if you're listening, Just Initials, yeah. Hugh wants some logo to just stick on his hoodie there.
Well, that's it. I mean,
back to CrickX. Hey, you had a decent weekend, Matt, didn't you?
Yeah, it was good. It was a bit of a strange day. It was one of the hottest days of the summer, and then second innings it just rained, and we went off. We were on and off, and managed to get the result in the end, but we did awfully well to get a game in. It
was a strange weekend across the country when you look at the weather, and obviously the southwest got completely blown away without a shadow and loads of abandonments. But you actually got some runs, and I think you were asking for an extended bit on the pod, weren't you, the weekend?
Like I said, I didn't know whether you needed me to jump on a bit early and go into detail, but got told normal place.
It wasn't a ton or anything special though, Hugh. It was only 70 odd, wasn't it?
That at the moment. I mean, did you face any left arm orthodox?
I think it was 3 of them.
Oh wow!
I wish I could. There was 3 of them. I think obviously they didn't have an overseas pro, but it was 3 amateur left arm spinners. So
very good.
Absolutely. Hey, let's get stuck into your stable, shall we, Matt? Shall we start with the batters? And I have a feeling there's one name that I've seen on socials over the last 24 hours who's going to come up with quite an interesting one. But go on, who's got runs for you?
So he's not at the top of the pile. He's gone back to back. So Potterns, Madhawar and Nimesh. He's gone back-to-back 150s, so he's gone 179 off 108 balls this weekend.
Wow.
Close behind was Bishmillah Khan for Watsonian up in Scotland. He's gone 136 off 81. And then jumping across the island, we had South African Mark Andrantos, if I've pronounced that correctly, for Cork County. He went 120 in the semi-final there. And then a consistent run scorer for Wickersley Old Village, Visvaraj Jadeja. He's gone another 118 off 98. And then the name that you just mentioned was Mandeep Singh on debut for Hull Singari. He's gone 107 off 84 balls against Easingwold, and I think he's going to score.
He's going to score runs full stop. And he's one to watch in the coming weeks.
Yeah, he's a proper Indian and IPL boy. So yeah, he's definitely one to watch.
He'd only been in the country a couple of days, hadn't he? And he's just made his debut.
Yeah, arrived on the Thursday late, apparently didn't train. Was tired on Friday, didn't do anything, and then just turned up for a couple of throwdowns on the Saturday morning. He whacked 100, so it's an easy game for some, isn't it?
It is. Hey, not as easy for me. Not as easy for people like me and Hugh, so let's turn to Hugh in stats instead, shall we, mate? What else we got around the country?
Sorry, Patel at Rothley, 193 from 165 balls. Obviously, a hell of a player. Been around a long time, but he's top of the charts this week. Play Cricket was doing its best to cock up overnight, so I'm not guaranteeing all of these. Well, they should be correct, but there might be a few missing matches for throwing me 404 errors and then a few refreshers later. So I think there's a few issues, but hopefully we've got them all. Didn't seem to be quite as many hundreds, but then we've pretty much got the whole of the West got abandoned, particularly Southwest again. Back in the list, Tom Partridge at Hyde versus Widnes, 169 off 132 balls there in the Cheshire County League. Andrew Smith at Chester Street, 162 from 114 versus Benwell Hill in the North East Premier League. Eid Ali at Egerton, very, very quick, 151 not versus Bradshaw in the GMCL, and it is Ida Silva, which is Johan de Silva. I thought it was Yanni de Silva. Johan de Silva, St Anne's versus Yuxton in the Northern Premier League, 151 not out of 169 balls.
Stop you getting in trouble again, Dexton.
Dexton, sorry. Well, it's spelled Yuxton. I don't know. Special mention to a rather rapid 69 from Hamid Bilal, 69 from 24 balls, not out for Woodlands against Undercliff as well. It was obviously not a high score, but that's pretty much the rapidest 50-plus of the week.
And I think I'll give a special mention to friend of the pod who's had a cracking week in T20, Mr. Teague Wiley, who he had a workout with his coach Tom Scully beginning of last week. He smacked 60 odd off 30 odd balls in the quarter-final of the Surrey T20 midweek. And in the semi-final yesterday, he hit 100 off 50 balls. And Isha scored 262 off 20 overs. Sunbury were all out for 84. Following on from that. And I think it's great. David Brent, his opening partner. No, not that David Brent. David Brent and Teague Wiley, between them, put on 154 in the first 11 overs. As a fielding side in a T20 there, that's a shocker, isn't it? You look at that. Where we go with that one?
Moralising.
Just a wee bit. And congratulations to Isha, who have been qualified, and they'll go into the national rounds now from the Surrey Championship. Also, while we're at it, I'll say congratulations to Cookney. They've done the same in Nottingham, and Blackpool, who did the same up in the Northern Premier the weekend. So those national rounds, which I think they start around about the 4th of August in the National T20, starting to come together now. Slowly but surely, we're starting to see which teams are rising to the top 10. There are going to be some new names in there as well. So that's the batters. What about the bowlers then, Matt?
Again, leading the way is Dick Schiller de Silva. So following on from his 9 for last week, he was sub-proing this weekend. He took 6 for 14. So it's just a good day out for him. Anyak Mishra for Cleethorpes, 6 for 37. Angeeth Correa for Woodford Wells, he's gone 5 for 10. Safi Ghaffari for Richmondshire, 5 for 28. That's back-to-back fifers again for him. And I don't know whether if you saw any of his spell on social media, but he had it going both ways, and the batsman had no idea. He's a proper bowler. James Logan for Broxbourne, he's gone 5 for 29, and then we've had quite a couple of fifers just dotted down the list as well. So Fraser Sheet, Reigate Priory, Moit Janga at Highfield, and then Casey Cariappa for Mildenhall, and they're just a couple to rattle off at the end there. But another great week for all Cricket players, batting and ball.
Exactly, but there's one name missing from it again for the second week, and I'm starting to get worried about our friend Dushan Vimukti. He's had 2 back-to-back weeks now where he's not been in at the top. What's going on there, Matt? You got any inside knowledge?
No inside knowledge. I think if you're a betting man, he'll be up there next week. I think he's allowed 2 weeks off with his stats so far this year, isn't he?
Yeah, he was the most consistent player in the whole stable by a long way, was in. Great to see KC back in the wickets over there at Mildenhall, top of the table in East Anglia, but doing very well there. I'm sure we'll talk about them more on this pod. Hugh, what else you got bowling-wise, man?
Well, Ishan Abiseka just keeps turning up at the top of these charts. 8 for 41 this week, not quite up to his 9 for 30. Disappointing. He must be disappointed with that effort. But that's Harrogate versus Stamford Bridge in the Yorkshire Prem North. Dan Wheeldon, name that's been well known to people around the Derbyshire Leagues, 7 for 16, helping to demolish Sorley for, what was it, 24 all out? Was it?
24 all out in the Derby match against Sandy Acre. I'm not going to say any more than that because the lads at Sorley will kill me.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, they've come up and they're still, they're third from bottom. There's a bit of daylight there, although I think Belper won on the weekend, which didn't help. But yeah, so they're not, they've had a few of these kind of results, but they've been able to bounce back. So hopefully they'll be able to bounce back again. Thirshin Villani, 7 for 29 for Wanstead and Snares against Buckhurst Hill in the Essex Prem. Thomas Clee, 7 for 744. Woodlands versus Undercliff in the Bradford Prem. And then Adam Carlson, 7 for 47. Hertford versus Totteridge Millhillians in the Hertfordshire League. About the top 5.
And how many fifers have you got this week, Hugh?
54 fifers across the leagues. 5 for 7, 5 for 16. Connor Fisher, Tickhill versus Shire Green, and that's the Yorkshire Southern Premier League. Which was the game that got finished in the quickest number of overs across the country, 33 overs in total. Not that I look at these things, obviously, week in, week out. Hey, Matt, thanks again for your time. As always, we'll put some names up on Twitter /X and have our ECB Performance of the Week poll. It'll be an interesting one this week. It's a bit random, I think, where the names are all going to come from, isn't it? And unfortunately for our listeners, or is it fortunately, none of the Scottish or the Irish ones will be included. But it just shows the breadth of Crick-X. It does.
Without a show. Have we got any Netherlands ones next week? Can we get the Netherlands included?
There's a decent league in the Netherlands, isn't it? It's just a strong league, yeah. You've got a few players over there, haven't you?
Yeah, we plays quite a few lads over there. Like you say, there is a good comp, and it is growing quite quickly. So, like you say, the lads coming over from Australia and New Zealand, they do have the option of going to England or around even is one that you do get quite a lot of placements.
Cool. Hey, great to see you again, Matt, and we'll catch up with you next week, mate.
No, all good. Cheers, guys.
Cheers now.
Thanks, Matt.
Oh, such a clutch off-season pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
Shop Blinds.com's primetime kickoff event. Save up to 50% off select styles, plus doorbusters. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Back across the country to where we started the season. So I started the season at Lindum on the first weekend of the season in the Lincolnshire League. Yeah, Lindum, who won it last year, they are one of there's only a couple of 3 teams around the country who won their league last year who are still top at the moment. They are now 9 points ahead of Woodall Spa. Sleaford, who came second, are back in 6th place. And our friend who was on the pod a couple of weeks ago, Jake Burton, and Long Sutton are still bottom, having been promoted last year and struggling to get things going, really, to be frank, in the Premier League at the moment. And there is a bit of a gap between Long Sutton and Grimsby, who are now 20-odd points behind Spalding in the sort of non-relegation spaces. They got games on in Lincolnshire at the weekend, at least, though, didn't they, Hugh?
Yep. Lindum, 104 all out, bowled out Bracebridge East for 84. Adam Lockwood, 47 from 67 for them. Bourne, Netlham, that looked like quite a interesting game. Netlham, 251, would have been probably happy with that, but Bourne got the job done with 10 overs to go. Jonathan Shear, 112 from 107 balls. Sam Everson, 3 for 22. I think is that Joey's brother, possibly? I think it might be. Yeah. Kundil Hidir still going. He just keeps putting the numbers up. I think he's one of the best young players in the country this season. They're playing for Lincolnshire as well. 52 from 66 for Grantham, but they weren't able to get the job done against Scunthorpe. We've got 278 for 8. Market Deeping, Spalding 321. It's been a good scoring league, this one. I think obviously the better pitches and better weather every week seem to be putting good totals on the board. Yeah, but that's one of the biggest scores this weekend. So they sort of flattened Market Deeping with a huge total there, and then Grimsby, Sleaford, Woodall Spa, Long Sutton, both. Actually, Grimsby Sleaford was relatively close, but Sleaford got the job done pretty quickly with 8 overs to go, and Woodall Spa completely blew away Long Sutton.
Yeah, I think the one number I picked up in the Lincolnshire League that you sort of breezed over there slightly, Hugh, was Lindum did. Yeah, they turned the screw on Bracebridge Heath. Let's be honest, they would have been very disappointed to only get to 164 for all out. But then when they bowled, a 6th bowler took 4 wickets for 3 runs, Mr. Joseph Thompson, in 4 overs. I mean, you don't get your 6th bowler coming on and taking 4 for 3 in 4 overs very often, do you?
Yeah, but it depends who's bowling, I suppose. If Shane Warne rocking up, it probably happens quite a bit. But yeah, not a bad effort.
It's a nice way to finish the game off, that, isn't it? Definitely. Hey, yeah. Hey, let's go up north to what I would definitely say is possibly the biggest league in the northwest of England. I'm sure my friends at the Lancashire League and the Liverpool and District League will argue with me, but let's look at the Northern Prem. You've got some fantastic historic clubs across here. It's looking like a bit of a one-horse race at the moment. 6th place Fleetwood from last year, 34 points ahead of Chorley, who came second last year. And last year's winners, Kendall, are back in 4th place. Fleetwood just have got out the traps very early on, and they haven't stopped, have they, Hugh?
And we've got a bit of a gap at the top and a bit of a gap at the bottom as well. Anns and Maudsley looking in trouble. St Anne's as well have played an extra game. So there's this bit of a lopsided league. Things may change, but it's looking a bit lopsided at the moment. Fleetwood, they've I think that's an abandoned game on the weekend. No result abandoned for them, so that maybe pegs them back a little bit. Ford and Broughton 205 all out, and then Fleetwood got to 37 for 3. Might be a little pleased with the abandonment there. Looking possibly in a bit of trouble. Just not enough of a match happened to get a result. A few other Longridge, Netherfield was Longridge put up 250, Netherfield 186 in reply there for a draw. Maudsley Settle was with another draw. So it's just a weekend of a few draws. Yes, and well, not Yuxton, was
Exton. We'll get you to get this right. Poor old Exton.
I was going to change the name.
Travelled up to beautiful St Anne's, and St Anne's scored 298 for 4 off their 50 overs. And then cleaned out Exeter in 27 overs to bowl them all out for 80. And let's be honest, I think if you look at the rest of the league where they were either draws or abandoned, that's what needed to happen to get a result, wasn't it? You need to put the runs on the board and just bowl people out quickly.
Absolutely, yeah. With the rain cutting everything a bit short, it's a quick turnaround in the second innings was the order of the day. Just jumping into a few of the stats. Just jumping into the stats, we got 2 lads at the top. In the bowling, we've got a certain Matt Siddle, 34 wickets, and Declan Clerkin also on 34 wickets, both Fleetwood players doing very, very well there. So that's kind of one of the reasons why they're doing so well.
Vassal Govind, they're in 3rd place, and the 3 Fleetwood bowlers there are basically ruling the roost in that league, aren't they?
Makes a difference. Yeah, I always think, are you picking starting from scratch? Are you going bowlers first? Are you going batters first? If you're picking a fantasy team, and certainly up there, I think you're probably going bowlers first, aren't you? In that league, this bowling seems to be dominating over bat at the moment. But
most definitely. Hey, should we go down other end of the league country where we know 1 or 2 people, and we're going to have some guests on in the coming weeks? West of England Premier League, we're going to have a look at here, Hugh, where the leaders have changed hands for the first time in a while. So Bath have been leading the way most of the season. They won the Whipple last year, but overtaking them in the last week or 2. Bridgewater, who came 4th last year and have a certain Carlos Brathwaite on their books. He has been playing for them a couple of times. He was talking about it on TMS, actually. So they have now taken the lead in that league, and it looks very tight at the top between the 2 of them. Last year's runners-up, Potter, are in 4th place. And we will have a guest from the Whipple on in a few weeks' time. Been in touch with Taunton St Andrews, and their skipper Josh is going to come on. So that'll be an interesting chat about that league and see what's going on at Taunton St Andrews and the Rue brothers. It's full of Rue brothers there, isn't it? But Bridgewater have jumped to the top there recently, even though it was a bit of, again, I think it was a bit of a wipeout of the weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, abandoned that one, revised target, but then I'm not even going to try and guess the rules. And at what point does it kick in? But I think we needed at least 10 overs there, and that didn't happen. Yeah, Bridgewater bowled out for 164, Bedminster 37 for no wicket off 7 overs, going very nicely, but then rain stopped play, or rain ended play, or whatever it was. Deluge ended play. But yeah, a few no big scores across the league, a few 50s. We've got 100 actually. Basil Akron 103 off 72. There we go. There's 100 of the week in the Whipple, and Morlon Simon 6 for 27. Both for Potton getting the job done there against Frooster. But they were the big 2 performances of the week in the Whipple.
Yeah, you've got to think that Bath potentially would be happy with that abandonment. They were in the field for 50 overs. Bristol had scored 254 at Bath on Saturday, and then the game was abandoned.
I missed Curtis Heafy. There we are, 130 off 148 balls. So that's another 100.
Yeah, that'd have been a big chase that to get 254 there as well, wouldn't it? So although Bath has been a high scoring ground, as we know. Is this top of the run scorers in the Whipple, if I'm right?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Max Trifanos.
Yeah, there's a few names lurking about in the Whipple, and they've both done well there. Let me just pull the stats up. Yeah, Curtis Heafy, 618 runs at 60, and then Max Trifanos, 69 runs at 71. Both of them striking in the 80s.
At the bottom of that league, though, we do have Frooster, who are now 40 points almost behind Bishopston, starting to well and truly lose touch there. So, interested in the West of England, Frooster at the bottom there and Bridgewater at the top. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks there. There's still another 6 games to go. Maybe 1 or 2 of the cup games might get in the way for 1 or 2 people. So let's get back up into the Midlands then, Hugh, and talk about one of our more local leagues. And let's talk about the Leicester and Rutland Cricket League, where last year's winners, Kibworth, are still mid-table. They've struggled all the way through the season, and they just haven't got going there. They're in 6th place. But they were running away with it at the top, Rothley Park, until recent weeks. It's just sort of been caught up a little bit by Lutterworth. What was going on there at the weekend, Hugh? Because obviously a lot of games did get finished in the Leicestershire League.
Yeah, there's a few really good games. We've got Lutterworth Langton very, very, very tight. It's 209. And Lutterworth finishing 1 short.
1 short.
One short, bowled out on the final ball, I believe, to finish just short of that total. The 209 plays 208. Really, really tight game there. When we had Oakham Horton and Thurnby, another really, really tight one. Oakham 303 for 10. 303 all out even. That's 10 wickets. Yeah. And then Horton and Thurnby finishing 3 short with 2 wickets left. Robert Taylor, 92.
And did you notice what happened at the end of that innings as well? 18 runs off the last over, right, from Andrew Reynoldson for Horton and Thurnby. Let's be honest, you've gone into your last over. You need 21-22 to win. You're thinking it's going to be tight. You go through the ball by ball and you see 6-1-1. Oh, hang on a minute. We've got a chance. Lost by 3 runs. All 100 overs bowled. 603 runs between 2 sides. It's a cracking game of cricket down there.
Quite a few decent scores around as well. And Rothley, with their 307, and then bowling Barrow out for 173. So even even in a losing cause, they're putting up 175-ish. It's a sign of the wickets and the decent pitches over there in Leicestershire.
Yeah, definitely. And the leaders, we mentioned them already once today, but Rothley with their 307, some good runs there from Rothley, and then Barrowtown, 73 all out. They made light work of it in the end there, I think, Rothley. Sonny Patel with his 193 off 165 balls. Ollie Freckingham was in the wickets again, 4 for 24 for Priyank Patel. Interestingly, they used 7 bowlers. You don't see many clubs use 7 bowlers, do you, these days, in the Premier League? Harry Funnell, who scored some great runs last week elsewhere, he got in the bowling as well.
Chipped in.
The Leicestershire League, we've been looking at it all season on and off. As you know, Sam Evans is still leading the way with 800-plus runs in the Premier League, and Sonny Patel closing him down. He's a couple of hundred behind, but he's on a good run there, Sonny. And from a bowling perspective, you only have to look at Vinod Pereira with 37 wickets already, and Sean Morris at 33, quite a way ahead of other people. The one thing Rothley haven't done this year, by the looks of things, is had any superstar player doing absolutely everything for them. It's definitely been a team game for them, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a depth game, isn't it? You can win these leagues with a few players, but not often. They have to have unbelievable seasons with bat and ball. But you've got Sam Evans there, 839 runs. That's the top in the country in all Premier Leagues, averaging at 76, striking at 85 nearly. And then Sonny Patel, both of those guys doing really, really well. Sonny with his 190 this weekend to push him up the charts. A couple of really strong performances from those two.
Yeah, definitely. Let's have a look. I'm just going to quickly jump around now, stuff that you've picked up.
Well, I think one of my favourite games from the weekend was in the North Yorkshire South Durham League. Got Barnard Castle against Martin.
Yeah.
A bit of carnage. Barnard Castle put up 108, and then Martin 98 all out. You got Ryan Gibson 49 from 51. This is all on video as well, which is great if anyone wants to have a nosy. So he's hit over exactly half the runs for Martin. Got an LBW, bit of gesticulation, shall we say, with the decision. I'm not going to comment. The angle's not right. I suspect he's saying he hit it. I'm not sure. He's waving his bat a little bit. It's not dissent. It's a discussion on the way off. But his bat is definitely behind his pad. I'm not so sure. We can hear about that. But so he got 49. Next highest score was that Ben Hutchinson with 13 from 45 at number 10. And then the list of carnages 4, 5, 0, 1, 5, 0, 2. And 5 not out. So they weren't sure. They finished 10 shy of Barnard Castle's total. Some good video to be watched there.
Yeah, and I think you'll see it on our socials this week. The other place where there was complete carnage was Shire Green. Shire Green, I think, might have been in that fastest finish of the week so far already this year, and they were bowled out on Saturday for 48 off 26.3 overs. To be fair, they just kept ticking along at sort of 1 for 0, 2 for 10, 3 for 20, 4 for 20. There wasn't a big fallout until they got to the 6th wicket, which was then 47 for 6, 47 for 7, 47 for 8, 48 for 9, 48 for 10. So they actually lost the last 5 wickets for 2 runs. Put yourself in the Tickhill bowling camp here. You open the bowling, Rhett Bridgens, 5 overs, 0 for 9. Connor Fisher, 4 overs, 5 for 16.
I'll take him 5 overs for 9 runs. I'll take it.
But then somewhere, Imran Khan, 13 overs, 5 for 19. I feel sorry for Rhett Bridgens. He opens the bowling, bowls 9 overs, doesn't take a wicket, keeps it down to the lowest economy rate of the lot. But, his mates go and chip in and take 10 wickets very quickly.
Yeah, but he's putting the pressure on, isn't he? doing a Mark Wood job on in the week. That's what Mark Wood did. He bowled his heart out, and everyone else got the wickets.
Yeah. What I did like about the Tickhill Shire Green game in particular, though, Shire Green bowled out for 48. Tickhill did not mess about. 49 in 6.3 overs. Let's get on with it, boys. Let's get out of here. We've travelled to Shire Green. We've skittled them. We're not going to hang around here, are we? We're just going to get in and out straight away.
I had a nice trip up to Tickhill earlier in the year. Another wet wicket, thanks to the weather, but it was a great little setup they've got there. Really, really nice setup, and lovely places to sit and watch the game all around the boundaries. Yeah, recommend a visit to Tickhill to anybody.
Definitely. Hey, there's some interesting stuff going on there around the ground as always. But let's just move to something that happened yesterday, shall we, Hugh? And have a quick look around the NCCA versus first class counties at the weekend. So there's two headlines without an absolute shadow. We're going to start in Nantwich, where I was on Friday. The place looked an absolute picture. It looked as good as it's going to get for a county set-up ground. Derbyshire won the toss to play against Cheshire, and they elected to bat. You only have to look at that Derbyshire side to go, they put plenty of the big guns out there. Although Bin Naeem made his first 11 debut from the Derbyshire League, 42 off 49 overs, and were bowled out by Cheshire, just shy of 49 overs, just shy of the 50 overs. 4 for 42 for S. Grant and 4 for 39 for Harry Dearden for Cheshire. Cheshire then went into bat. Little sneaky opening batter called Noah Kelly dropped down from Driffield Town in Yorkshire. Noah's probably wishing he didn't bother. He only scored one. Was out pretty quickly to Sam Connors. But leading the way was Mr. Llewellyn with 91 runs for Cheshire. And then someone I interviewed a few weeks ago, Kevin Carroll, came in and slapped Derbyshire for 62 runs off 27 balls, and they beat them within 35 overs. That's a cracking result for an NCCA county there, isn't it, Hugh?
Yeah, a really dominant performance, especially after both your openers. You got Sam Perry there, who's obviously a very, very strong Premier League player as well, along with Noah Kelly, two of the best Premier League openers in the country, going for 5 between them. And the depth of Cheshire just getting the job done. I think both Derbyshire and Notts on the wrong end of the national counties this weekend. I think every other match of this sort of series went to the first class counties. But yeah, Derbyshire just don't seem to have. They can't put two results together. They'll have a good win and then they'll lose to Cheshire or somebody like that. And I don't know whether that shows you the weakness of Derbyshire this year or the strength of Cheshire. It's difficult to say.
Yeah, a bit of both. Looking across at that Nottinghamshire, I think this game was even more of an impressive win for an NCCA county here, where Nottinghamshire won the toss and elected to bat. 31 all out off 49 overs. Hamid got 79 for them. Later got 70. King got 40. There was runs all the way through there. Even Dylan Pennington, 28 at batting number 10 there for Nottingham. I'm sure, having put 331 on the board, Lyndon were thinking, here we go, we're going to have a good day here. What did I say?
He's Lincolnshire.
At Lyndon. But Lincolnshire, with Sam Evans leading the way with 132 off 119 balls, they knocked them off with 1 ball to spare, 334 for 5. Congratulations there to Lincolnshire. That's a cracking win there. And they lost their opener quite early, and Mr. Hadir, he's been a good player for them all through the season, but the rest of them did the job, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, you've got Dylan Pennington opening the bowling with 8 overs for 49. Probably going to play the test match this week. So it's not like there was a load of rubbish getting bowled on them. Brett Hutton, Toby Petman. There's some good bowlers happening there. Freddie McCann getting a game after his England under-19s adventures in the week. He didn't get any runs particularly, but he got a wicket there. But yeah, just a really, really impressive performance from Lincolnshire. I think like you said, this wasn't Nottinghamshire losing the game. This was definitely Lincolnshire winning the game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the one game I was disappointed in yesterday that it didn't go the distance was the game that was abandoned. Now, we're told it was abandoned due to an unfit pitch. I'm going to be very cynical here. So who said it was unfit? Because Surrey were bowled out for 223.
Yeah, it's an awkward one, this one. Yeah, so I had a look at this one on the live feed. Obviously, Surrey getting 223 all out in their 50 overs, so it wasn't a road. Ben Folkes 27 of 54 balls, batting 3. Then you've got, things were reasonably calm at the start, and then Nathan Barnwell came in, bowled his first ball, and if you watch it in the live feed, it's hard to tell whether the batsman didn't play it particularly well or it absolutely reared on him. It looks like it rears on the batsman completely and takes him by surprise, and it goes over his head. Real nasty one. And then the rest of the over is okay. And then there's another one just at the end of the over that doesn't behave. And at that point, the umps just got together and just called it off there and then. So whether that's the extra pace of Nathan Barnwell compared to the other bowlers in the game, just being able to just get the pitch to do something a bit fruity. I'm surprised just on the evidence of that one over that they've called the game off. But I suspect in the whole match, maybe the pitch was doing a few things and there was murmurs and this, that and the other. And that sort of sealed the deal. You don't want people getting hurt, particularly at this stage of the season. So, yeah, it's some people probably not particularly happy with the outcome, but we don't want people getting hurt.
No, not in the slightest. And obviously, the most important thing there was they got a lot of cricket on, which we know that over the weekend wasn't the easiest thing for people there. And disappointing, obviously, that you don't get to finish that game. But they did well, Cambridgeshire, without a shadow. And another game that I would just finally like to look back at yesterday, and the ECB National Club Championships coming towards that real sort of top end now, where the quarterfinals are due to happen this weekend coming up. But one of them did happen yesterday, and Northern revenge is the best way to put it. So Northern were drawn against Ormskirk in the first round of the Lancashire Cup earlier this season, and Ormskirk did Northern on that one. They come together in the quarter-final of the National Club Championship, and other way round this time, Northern are into the semi-final. And from what I can see in the draw, it looks like Northern will be pretty local to me and you, Hugh. They'll either be at Kimberley Institute or Smethwick in the semi-final. They play next weekend. And congratulations to Chris Laker, 107 for 102 balls for Northern yesterday. Fair play. Gary Knight, the captain at Ormskirk, he gave it a good go, and I'm sure James Cole, our friend from Northern, he would have been looking at it towards the end thinking, what are we going to do about this? Because it kept creeping and creeping and creeping. Gary ended up on 93 not out, but there were 2 run-outs in that game, which I think made a difference. Tal McGladdery with 2 run-outs in the Ormskirk innings. Wickets late on for Josh Thompson, who got 2 wickets for 13 off 4 overs. Great performance. Nice to see 2 of the big clubs go up against each other. And then we look forward to the other quarterfinals coming up this weekend, where, as I say, you've got Kimberley Institute playing against Smethwick. You've got Teddington playing against Bath. And then you've got a cracker down in the southeast with Brentwood playing against Wanstead and Snaresbrook. That'll be a real corker this Sunday. And then we'll be down to the last 4 in the club championship. And some big names going to be in that semi-final, isn't there, Hugh?
Yeah, well, Kimberley Institute certainly going very, very well, second in the Prem. Seem to be putting quite a few results together. I'm just having a quick look. Where is Smethwick?
Smethwick at top of the Birmingham Premier League.
Yeah, so that's going to be a cracker, isn't it, that one? So, yeah, it'd be nice. Where's that being played?
Smethwick.
It's absolutely not local to me then. Bad luck. That would be a really, really interesting game to watch. So yeah, things really hotting up there, aren't they?
Yeah, and the other thing to point out, we mentioned it with Matt Taff earlier. Those T20s are now coming to a culmination around the Premier Leagues. We're getting to that point where the area finals are going to be happening in the next few weeks. And slowly but surely, we start building this. I can't believe I'm saying this, Hugh. We start building all the way to that T20 national final, and who's going to join Hornchurch in the European Cricket League next February out in Cartama. It comes round again, doesn't it? It doesn't seem 2 minutes ago.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Yeah, summer holidays are here.
Absolutely. And the Hornchurch are booking flights to Cartama.
Yeah, and apparently Ryanair dropping their ticket prices as well. So quick, get booking.
I hadn't picked up on that one. Definitely.
Yeah. Got to win the cricket matches first, but yeah.
It's quite funny actually. Whenever we put something on the socials about the T20s around the country, Hornchurch always look at it. They always put some nice big eyes to say, "Oh, we're looking. We're seeing who's going to join us out in Cartama." They know that Wimbledon aren't going to be joining them because clearly they got knocked out last week. But I wonder if Isha could go all the way, and could they convince Teague Wiley to come and fly to Cartama? That'd be a corker, wouldn't it?
We've got the European cricket on. You may be in the Sheffield Shield final, but mate, we've got European cricket. That's surely that trumps the Sheffield Shield. So.
Yeah, or you never know. By then, the Greek national champions might have had Zoglu join them because he'll have had his passports.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, I think we need to get that sorted, don't we? Need Peter H.
Definitely.
Peter H. playing he'd go so well in the T10 in the European cricket.
He did say it's his favourite format.
Yeah.
And if no one from European cricket didn't listen to that and think they should be sorting out without a doubt. It's one of those weeks where it's a bit of a random week for us, Hugh. We've been around a good number of leagues there. We're going to do it in a few weeks' time, though, as well. We're going to go around a number of other leagues and just look at that state of play. And I think once we get towards maybe, say, 4 weeks left in each league, we'll start to make maybe one or two. I'm going to use the word predictions very carefully, but just look at what's cracking off there. For those guys who are in those run-ins coming up, I sent some messages out to various people last night. I want to know where those big games are between now and the end of the season, and they're the ones that we want to be keeping an eye out, because obviously there's always some big games popping up at both ends of the table across the leagues, and they're the ones on a Saturday I'll be scrolling through Play Cricket and seeing what's cracking off in all of them, Hugh.
There's a few young players catching my eye at the moment as well, so I think we might be talking about some of the young lads coming through. I spotted a 13-year-old playing Premier League cricket. We've got a few others coming through this year, and there's some big runs for some 16 and under players, and also some guys taking big wickets at that age as well. So I think there's a few names that might, when you look at the stats and you look at those players coming through into the future, it's often the lads who are scoring the runs at a really young age are the ones who then go on to make it big. So it'd be nice to pick out a few names before they're famous.
Most definitely. Hey, and before we go, I've got to say, congratulations to 4 of our friends from the NCCA. 3 of these congratulations are very, very serious, and the last one is a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek. But firstly, let's say congratulations to Harrison Ward from Oxfordshire and Sussex, who's got his contract in the 100 to play for the Oval Invincibles. So look out for that name. Harrison will be probably opening the batting, maybe 3. A big hitter in the 100 coming up. And then also Tommy Sturgis, ex-Walkston in Derbyshire, but now Wargrave and Berkshire. He made his debut yesterday for Worcester, and he's going to be playing for Worcester in the Metro Bank. Joining him at Worcester is Tom Hinley from East Grinstead and Oxfordshire. And if you listen to this pod regularly, you'll know that Tom's had a good time the last few weeks for East Grinstead. We won't mention last weekend, though, Tom, because it was a bit rubbish, wasn't it, though? But he had a good day for Worcester yesterday. And finally, my 4th congratulations goes to somebody who we had on a few weeks ago talking about the Home Counties League. Connor Haddo got a fifer at the weekend. And, at last we saw Connor with a fifer, and he would have had to put his hand in his pocket back at the clubhouse there, I think, Hugh.
Very nice. Yeah, it's wonderful to see somebody like Harrison in the 100, though. It's absolutely brilliant to see these guys come through and reach the sort of the top tier of the game, despite what people think of the 100. But he's certainly going to be on a few people's radars after this summer.
Definitely. Great to catch up again, Hugh, this week, and we'll be back next week. We've got a guest booked in next week already, Hugh, and it's all I'll say, it's a captain of a club who are in a national area final in a few weeks' time. So, there's a few of them out there. There's a bit of a choice there, but it's a great club from up not too far from us. It'll be well worth talking to, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Catch you next week, mate.
Cheers, man.
Thanks for listening to the Premier League Cricket Show. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future episodes and stay updated on all the latest news, views and discussions from around the Cricket's Premier Leagues. And be sure to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram at TPL Cricket Show on both. Join the conversation, share your thoughts and connect with us and your fellow Premier League cricket fans. And hey, if you enjoyed the show, why not show us some love? Leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast platform, as it helps other potential listeners to find us when they're searching for cricketing podcasts. Thanks again for being part of the Premier League Cricket Show family, and until next time, have a good one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.